For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is VSiN By The Books on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We begin hour number 3. It is VSiN By The Books. I'm Dave Ross here at Circus Sports in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Our birthday boy, the closer, Jensen Lewis, back home in Cleveland, Ohio. And again, Jensen, my mom and dad love all of our guests. They love our show, but they do love our next guest. Lou Finocchiaro joins us here in the Progressive Guest Line. And what's not to love? Give him a follow on X at Gamblue, the host of the Bout Business podcast. Does a great job week in and week out covering mixed martial arts for us. And Lou, before we get to this card, which is intriguing, certainly in the main event, maybe not by the line, but by what fight style we might see for the young and the old. We saw these major announcements this week in the UFC, which is typical this time of year, International Fight Week. And we've seen a lot of consternation of these fighters. We're having super fights, guys vacating divisions to go up in different weight classes, immediately get title shots. We're going to have one next month with Ilia Topuria vacating at 45 to move up to 55 to fight the former champion in Charles Oliveira. He's a massive favorite to win his first bout back up at 55 in a title picture. Is it harder for you as a handicapper when you see these weight fluctuations and all of a sudden these massive fights in new weight classes?
Well, first of all, Jensen and Dave, thanks so much for having me on. I love the shine that the UFC gets this time of year. And these new announcements, this is typical of this time of year. And really what they're trying to do is really put some pizzazz in International Fight Week. But this year, with no John Jones and Tom Aspinall, they were struggling, in my opinion, to come up with names. Topuria and Dubronx is really a great match. But at the end of the day, I think we're asking a lot of Charles in a guy like Topuria that moves up. And, he's getting front row. But the UFC is owned by an entertainment company. They're looking for ratings. They are bonusing fighters for finishes and flair and flash. And we saw last week with perhaps the least intelligent game plan in a fight I've ever witnessed in 55, 60 years of doing this, that they want to put on the show. And in return for the show, what do you get? Knock down 10 rungs. And so it doesn't surprise me that we've got 3 or 4 super fights on this card. They did that to try and take care of the vacuum that John left.
Lou, on this card for this weekend, Morales and Burns, the headliner here in a welterweight fight. You know me, I always look for some plus money advantages and perhaps a leverage opportunity. I had to do a double take here when I looked at the handle. 92% of the money on DraftKings is on Burns outright here at plus 600. Am I crazy to back his grappling and the experience? I know he's on a skid here, and Morales has been just absolutely phenomenal and undefeated. Size it up for us and tell me if I'm nuts here to back the underdog.
Jensen, in previous shows, I have tried to talk you off the bridge once or twice, but on this one, I think you got something. Morales is big and strong and young and explosive, but we've seen even a guy like Magny be able to drag him down.
Yes.
And Burns' wrestling is far superior to Magny or anyone for that matter that Morales has seen. So my question will be is how quickly can Burns penetrate distance and get his forehead planted on Morales' chest to be able to force the young Hulk from Ecuador to use his energy defending as opposed to on offense. I like Burns here. I may even like him inside the distance a little bit because of that 5-round experience. I mean, if I'm going to go long, why don't I go as long as I can?
By the way, the total is sitting at 3.5 rounds here for this potential 5-round matchup. Juice to the under, minus $1.25. If that finishing capability, Burns is 12-1. I'm seeing submission prices out there, Lou. Is that what we would see? Or we've seen him. He fought with Khamzat Chimaev and threw hands with Khamzat back in the day. So, like, Gilbert's been in there against the very best here. Would you assume if it's inside the distance, what's that manner of victory? Would you look to the sub price, or do you think a ground and pound could be in play?
I like each. I tend to be conservative, but to answer your question, submission.
Yeah.
I think what would happen is Gil would be on top. Morales would start to tire. It's getting close to the 4th round, and Gil finds a neck, an arm, a knee, whatever.
Yeah, and by the way, Jensen and I talked about it when I got back off vacation. That if you were backing Bilal Muhammad last week and you saw that game plan, to your point, I would have been livid because of just a terrible style that he employed to give away that belt last week. Speaking of, Paul Craig, sometimes the fight IQ gets a little questioned from a guy I love to back from Scotland there. He's a big underdog again against Rodolfo Bellato here, a 4-1 betting underdog in the light heavyweight division. I heard the Bear Jew say this week that he could be out, that the UFC could be looking to move on from Paul Craig if he doesn't win. You're talking about that style and that flair. He's got that, but he doesn't have victories here. Does Paul Craig have a real shot as a 4-1 betting underdog in the co-main event?
He has a shot, a real shot. I'm not sure. And I know he's desperate. What the UFC is basically doing in this Morales fight, as well as Bellato and Craig, they're letting the young lions retire the old lions. And in Craig, he's referring to the fact that if he loses, he's probably out. He has, he could outstrike me, okay? But he does not have UFC caliber striking. And that's all Bellato is. Bellato's a big barrel full of gunpowder ready to explode. That said, if you can suck Bellato out, if Craig can take this past 1 into 2, I like the over in the fight.
Ooh.
Craig is totally focused. He wants to stay. I love a desperate fighter. And let's not forget, Craig owns a submission victory over the current champ Ankalaev, so he can submit. And Bellato, big, strong. If he gets a little bit swole up, he can slow down. And again, two main and co-main event, huge prohibitive favorites. I may be going the other way on little gimmicks.
I love it, Lou. I did write in my notes for that fight, submission threat, and would love to see that get home for Paul Craig. Hey, Yusuf and Santos, also in my notes here. It's a pretty even fight, but I underline these. Tell me if I'm on the right track. Veteran experience for Yusuf and the striking. If it's a close fight, perhaps that's the difference maker in that one. How do you size that up?
Well, Dave, we're going to have to put a muzzle on Jensen, or he's going to take my spot each Friday and do the handicapping for me. I do see this as the most competitive fight on the card. It's lined that way. Let's not forget, Myron Santos won a decision over a guy named Marshall a month and a half, 2 months ago that he didn't win. In their own way, this is a test for Yusuf. Oh, by the way, how old's Yusuf? 31, Santos 24. Yusuf has experience. His striking, he won't be the faster, quicker, more precise man. He'll surely be the more powerful and experienced man. And I honestly think, I hate to say it, but I really think Yusuf's getting a little bit disrespected here. They should be picked, if not a little bit of a favoritism to Yusuf. And again, I think Santos is owed by the karma gods, and I do like Yusuf a good deal in this fight.
Yeah, I see it the same way, kind of breaking down some of these dog plays here, potentially, that could be really live in the co-main and the main, and certainly with Sadiq there as well. Let's see if he is super once again. Another dog that I'm looking at that I want to add to my card, I haven't done it yet, and I wanted to get your thoughts, Lou. It's Juicy J and Julian Erosa against Melky Costa. Now, I get why Melky is a $1.75 betting favorite, but Erosa feels like he's getting better, and he's been in some of these dogfights, and man, he can be slick with those submissions out of nowhere. What do you make of Erosa as a dog here in the featherweight division?
Two lefties in the cage should make it really interesting. And Costa going to want to get in and grapple. And if Erosa, bigger, longer, taller, more experienced, can keep him on the outside, he surely got the power to really drive Costa somewhat crazy. Total in this fight, I'm seeing 2.5, lined a little bit to the over. To me, and it's tough, but Erosa either straight or Erosa, if you want to consider playing the points. I think that's a most underrated way to go. Yeah, I don't get $1.50 on him, but I got to pay $1.10 to get plus 3.5 in a fight that I think that could go to decision. If it doesn't, I think Erosa could get him out of there.
Lou, last minute with you, a tradition unlike any other here for us on By the Books. We are a couple weeks away here from Selection Monday for the College World Series in the tournament. If I gave you the SEC or the ACC to win it in Omaha, which conference do you like?
Oh, baby, what a great question. I take the SEC because I'm just going to play the numbers game, and I still believe they'll get more in, even though if you're handicapping college baseball by just looking at the top 20, that's a Blinko game. It's popcorn. It changes by the week. You really got to study these pitching staffs and stuff, and I'm still stuck on the SEC. But I would say this. To win the College World Series, ACC, SEC got to be minus 400.
Very quickly, gents, we have about 30 seconds. The other fight that was announced for the future, Lou, it's in August. It's at the UC, at the United Center in Chicago, my old stomping grounds there. Khamzat Chimaev is going to be against DDP, the champ. Duplessis is the dog at plus $1.64. Very quickly, just your first look at it. You do a great job with the sneak peek. Is this priced properly? Should DDP be the big dog here to Khamzat?
I don't think so. I think that's anticipating Chimaev money. We remember what Burns did to Chimaev.
Yeah.
And Chimaev, who's the backup in the fight? Because Chimaev can't get papers to travel. I don't think he makes that fight. That's announced. But who's the backup?
It's Nasruddin Imavov. And great point, because DDP said it looks like I'm fighting Nasruddin Imavov because Khamzat's going to pull out of this fight. That's what he does. Lou, you're the best. Appreciate you as always. Check out the Bout Business podcast, people, if you haven't done so. Releases every Friday. It's spectacular. Much more to get to. Come on back. It's VSiN By The Books.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tuned in to VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
Fantastic conversation in the last segment with Lou Finocchiaro. Dave Ross, Jensen Lewis here with you on a birthday edition of VSiN By The Books for our guy, Jay Lou. We're going to have the one and only Jonathan Davis coming up here in the next segment, talk all things puck. We're going to get to news and noise in 1 second, but we saw that Jeff Darlington, a really good reporter out there, that it was a year ago to the day that he happened to be in Louisville for the PGA Championship when Scotty Scheffler was behind bars. I still can't believe that this actually happened a year ago today on your birthday, Jensen. That's before the round of golf, the second round of golf at the PGA Championship. The guy's got a 2 hours before his tee time, and he was literally doing calisthenics in the county clink. I mean, is this not one of the more surreal anniversaries of any sports moment we can recall in the last 10 years?
Yeah, and the fact that, by the way, if you haven't seen it, go on to X, Jeff Darlington, at Jeff Darlington. He posted it, did like a walk and talk basically through the actual spot in Louisville. Sat and did a one-on-one with Scotty. It's one of those things when you check your phone, you're like, it's not real. And then Scotty's? You go on and you make sure the check marks are next to the reporters that are doing it. It's not fake news. So just wild.
Yeah, and he still made his tee time. I mean, yeah. I'm sure we've all played golf with people that don't make their tee time. They don't have the excuse that Scotty Scheffler had a year ago today, but he did make that tee time, didn't win. By the way, still 200 par. Scotty Scheffler has not teed off today in that super group 1, 2, and 3 with Rory and Xander Schauffele. But without further ado, let's get to it. Is this news and or noise?
Is it news?
Corleone is a man who insists on hearing bad news immediately.
Or just noise?
Are you going to act like this is news? Just noise. This is noise.
Let's separate the impactful from the insignificant with one simple question. News or noise?
You know, we know in certain parts of the country, you know, it's going to be football crazed here. It's going to be whatever you're in, basketball here, baseball here. You pick your cities and you can find them across the United States. I didn't realize this was such a big deal in your great state of Ohio that we'd actually have an Ohio representative try to ban noon kickoff times. Jensen, is this news or noise?
Well, it's news from the standpoint that we've got to have legislation now that could impact the decisions on kickoff times. Okay, in a Lewis Ross administration, this is also an executive order day one, because the logical nature here is to make a little amends. And it's big noon kickoff here, okay?
Right.
That's Fox's. It's their premier game. It's always at noon. And for Ohio State, Michigan, yes, the game should always be played at noon. It is tradition. Leave it there. That's fine. You're allowed to make a caveat. At big noon, I know it says big noon, it's the name. But you're allowed, people will understand. It should be a 7:30 p.m. under the lights at the Shoe, defending national champions against Texas, a team that a lot of people think can win the national championship this year. It's the first game of their schedule. What is wrong with you people? Okay? You will make more money doing it this way for all these people to come in from Texas and how people tailgate in Columbus every single Saturday. Why do we have to get to this point where logic does not rule the day? This is stupid on so many levels. Am I biased as a Buckeye fan? Yes. How is this game not a 7:30 or 8 o'clock kickoff? I will not understand it whatsoever.
By the way, in this is real legislation that could be brought before.
Yes.
In Ohio. We're not making this up, people. This is a real thing. It would still, the caveat would be that the Michigan game would stay at noon. That'd be the only outlier. But every
Correct.
other game would be banned at noon, correct?
Yes, they would say when a state university is involved.
Okay.
But either way, like, I don't know why logic and reason do not surface here. This is an easy one, Fox. This is easy. Dave, you've got to believe that if you're Fox and you're going up against ESPN, why wouldn't you want to crescendo through the day for your coverage? They do it for Alabama and LSU every year, regardless of what happens. Okay?
Good point.
Regardless of what those teams are doing, they crescendo into it. Hello. This is an easy fix. I don't understand it.
By the way, Ohio State is the betting favorite to go back-to-back this year at plus $5. Texas, second betting choice at plus $5.50. And then you get those Georgia Bulldogs at plus $6.50, Penn State at plus $7.50. How about this for news or noise? Could the NFL players be headed to the Olympic Games in 2028? That's in L.A. Now, this is basically would be a flag football competition, which will be debuting this year at the L.A. Games. Now, in this resolution, it stipulates no more than one player from each team could participate, but that the league says, fine, we'll go along with this. Is this news or noise?
So I think it's news because now we have, the WBC in baseball. Yes. We have Four Nations now for the NHL. You and I talked about earlier in this week about teams and general managers and front offices just, staying up at night, worried about their star players that want to do these exhibition tournaments. Well, it's the Olympics. That's different now. Okay, there are guys that I played with that would have given anything to put on the stars and stripes to represent their country. Is this the same, Dave, because it's not true American football the way that we do it with pads and helmets? So two ideas here. Number one, you're going to have guys that'll do it, no question, because it's the Olympic Games. Second, you'll have guys that'll have some trepidation about it because they'll be coming into contract years or they'll be, the dollars and cents of it. So the business of football may get in the way of that. all in all, I'm here for it. I want to see it. I'm an athlete. I would love to see guys that are able to show how great they are. It's going to be a little watered down for me because it's not what we watch on Sundays and throughout the fall and the wintertime. So to each their own, but it's fine with me.
Could I approach to the bench, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to throw this name out there, Robert Edwards. For New England Patriot fans of years past, when you hear that name, you go, oh, don't bring up that, because Robert Edwards had an unbelievable rookie year. The Pro Bowl, they tried to switch it up, right? So they played flag football on the beach. And then Robert Edwards blew out his knee on said beach. Hang on. Yeah. Right? So it sounds great in theory, and I'm with you. It's different because it's the Olympics. That was the Pro Bowl, and they quickly nixed that after the Robert Edwards injury. Right. But, like, could you imagine if there's one representative from every NFL team, God forbid your guy goes out there and has a Robert Edwards situation, then we're going to go, why'd we do that? Like, that would be the one caveat to flag. But I'm assuming it's not going to be on a beach like it was at the Pro Bowl, right?
No.
I'm assuming this will be like a real flag football game.
You would hope.
Right.
And I want Tyreek Hill as the representative if he's still with the Dolphins. I want to see it. Someone try and cover him in flag football.
By the way, did you see that? What was it? Was it Tennessee that put out the schedule release yesterday?
The Colts.
The Colts, and then they rescinded it because they took a shot at Tyreek Hill. And then Tyreek Hill himself said you shouldn't have deleted it.
That's funny.
It's funny. Like, everybody, relax.
Again, day one executive order. Like, let's understand, people, the line of demarcation. This is just for fun.
Just for fun.
Okay, it's poking fun at people. These guys are paid a lot of money. They're going to be okay. They're going to be fine.
Tyreek can handle the joke. So can you, America. Profit X right now. It is the NBA playoffs, obviously in full swing here. We've partnered up with Profit X, offering great odds all playoff season long. So it's a peer-to-peer sports exchange, which is available in 40 or more states here across the country. So you're going to be able to make those picks against other groups of fans rather than the books themselves. That's going to guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download Profit X today. Use the code VSIN. Earn up to $200 in Profit X cash over your very first month. Use that promo code VSiN. Very quickly, let's update. We're going to have Jonathan Davis join us here in the next segment talking all things hockey. But at the PGA Championship right now, Jonathan Vegas has already gone out, parred his first hole of the day, so the leader is out on the course. The round of the day so far, Max Homa. Where have you been, Max Homa? So we do have a legit sighting here from Max. And Jensen, I believe he's 5 under par through 7.
Yeah.
So he is vaulted now from 2 over par to 3 under par, tied for 12th right now, just 4 off the lead. That says to me the golf course is gettable. You can go after it.
Max Homa 80-1 right now live, if you wanted to jump in on the long shot. Also, Joaquin Niemann right on his heels is 4 under through 7. Niemann now 55-1 live if you wanted to jump in on him. So again, I still feel if these numbers are what they are, and by the way, if you want to call Morikawa like I am, 2 under through 5, so he's 3 under for the tournament. We're getting movement also from some of the other bigger names as they start to tee off here. Bryson DeChambeau is 1 under through 3. So I'm thinking we see some low numbers here. We may see some tightening. Anxious to see where that cut number is going to be too.
Yeah.
Once we get into it as well.
Big Swede, he can wake up a little bit. Ludwig Oberg, he did have a birdie on 11, gave it back with a bogey on 12. Still 1 under par, 6 off the lead as well. Let's talk some puck. We're going to do that when we come back with the Iceman. Jonathan Davis joins us next here on VSiN By The Books.
VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
We are back in the Friday edition of VSiN By The Books. Dave Ross, Jensen Lewis here. Always love catching up and talking puck with our guy, Jonathan Davis, back there in California. You can follow him on X as I do at West Coast Hockey. That's HKY. Joins us here in the Progressive Guest Line. JD, how is California, my friend? I know that we got 3 teams to your north of the border that are hoping that their Stanley Cup seasons are going to keep going. What's it like now in LA or California, now that the Kings are out? Is there a team that they're going to say, this is who we're going to gravitate towards?
Well, I think the more they watch Edmonton advance, the more it bothers them, to be honest with you. It's so frustrating to think, that they were that close to knocking them out. I don't know what's worse, actually, if you're an LA fan or, guys, if you're an Ottawa Senators fan and you're going, oh, my God, we would have given Florida a better fight than what Toronto is putting up right now.
JD, it's a great point. And also you bring up Edmonton. It was something that Dave and I visited about when they were down 2-0 in their series. And like, if you want to jump on a future now, and it was your sage advice, you got Connor McDavid, you got Leon Draisaitl, you're in the fight. And here we are. Would you make Edmonton the favorite, regardless of who's left here in hockey's Final Four, and regardless of if it is Winnipeg or Dallas coming out of that other series?
Yeah, I do, because the thing that I've always, or not always, but have admired with both Connor and Leon over the last 4 or 5 years, ever since they got eliminated by the Vegas Golden Knights, they've been on a mission. I can still remember the post-game interviews with Connor and Leon after that Vegas series, and they were virtually in tears. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to what I've said to you guys on numerous occasions about guys hating to lose more than they enjoy winning. And that's what those two guys are about. And Connor, right after they eliminated the LA Kings, one of the first things he talked about was that they've been waiting for the opportunity and hoping to have the opportunity to play the Vegas Golden Knights. And that's what they were faced with, and they seized it. And so now that, with what you're seeing with Edmonton and how diverse that offense has been, I mean, Connor and Leon haven't had to win the series for them. They lead the team in points, but they haven't had to be dominant because the support players on this team have stepped up.
I just look at it and I go, can Stuart Skinner keep playing at this level, JD? Like, is this a mirage, what we saw in the last 2 games with back-to-back shutouts against VGK? Because as you guys mentioned here, they are kind of basically now the favorites to win the West, whoever is going to come out of there between Winnipeg and Dallas. Can you really count on Skinner being that good the rest of the way?
Well, Dave and Jensen, I mean, the one thing with Stuart Skinner, he's now 12-1 once you get from Game 4 and beyond in a series. His last 13 times in that situation. It's remarkable. What is it now? It's 12-1. It's 10 of the last 12, 2 goals or less. He's got 3 shutouts in that span. Now, what I will say is that if you look at Game 4, the first shutout of the series in the Vegas series, guys, he was the 3rd star of the night, which it's rare that a goalie who pitches a shutout is not the 1st star, not even the 2nd star. He was the 3rd. And I bring that up because he didn't have to be really good that night. And I know I was on with Mitch and Paulie yesterday, and Mitch has got a 300-1 ticket on Skinner for the Conn Smythe.
Whoa.
It's a great look. I get it. It's a great value. And the thing with Skinner, guys, is that he's a really good person. He's one of the only goalies, he's the first goalie that I can remember since Marty Brodeur that actually talks to the media on game days. Like, that's unheard of in this sport. It's like a starting pitcher, Jensen, talking to the media on a game day. So, he's liked by the media. His numbers are really good when it matters most. And, so yes, can he keep it up? Look, the way I may approach it next round is go against him in the first couple of games. And then once you get to Game 4, that's when you ride the Oilers and Skinner.
I think it's a great idea, and also a great piece of advice you've given to people are alternate puck lines. And Dave brought it up earlier. It bears repeating with this Toronto and Florida matchup tonight. We would assume that Florida on home ice should take care of business. But it feels like, and even look through the data, and this is why I said to Dave earlier, I'm very intrigued by what JD's thoughts are on just the matchup alone and the prevailing sentiment. Do we live in a world in which Toronto finally puts it together, gets out front, and can win convincingly and in conjunction with your alternate puck line ideas of the past? Is this a spot to perhaps do it? Because I think Toronto by 2 or more goals tonight is upwards of plus 410 on DraftKings. Is a scenario available tonight in which you would back that?
Well, it's the only scenario that, look, yes, I would back it. If you're going to play Toronto, you're going to play the puck line. So we've had 14 elimination games, potential elimination games in the playoffs this year. 11 of the 14, I think it is, or 11 of the 13, the team has won by 2 goals. 4 of the 5 times that the team that was trying to stave off elimination won the game, they covered the puck line in 4 of those. So if you're going to, for me, look, I would play both teams on the puck line because I think you're going to make, based on the numbers, one of these teams is going to win by 2 or more goals, and I think you've got a profitable opportunity here.
All right, let's get to the elephant in the room. That is Toronto after that dismal performance, losing 6-1. And then you could see it all over social media, JD. They're like, we got to blow this thing up with Marner and Austin Matthews. I can't imagine that. But, they are so apoplectic about this hockey club north of the border. If it does go down south tonight in Sunrise, do they blow this up? Is this current iteration of Maple Leafs just not good enough to get across the line?
It's good enough on paper. It's not good enough between the ears. And so for me, look, Mitch Marner's an unrestricted free agent. And I think either it's Marner that decides to go or the Leafs decide to go, say, we're not interested in paying you the money that you want. Their other unrestricted free agent is John Tavares, who was their captain until they gave the captaincy to Austin Matthews. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle his situation. In the case of Matthews, look, they're not moving Austin Matthews. I mean, I'd be shocked. He's still got 3 years left on his deal. And the other player is William Nylander, who is a dynamic goal scorer, but you just don't know from time to time if he's going to be there. They've got a bunch of guys that play on the perimeter, and that's their biggest problem. So blow it up. Yeah, I think you're going to see some changes to the core. Now, as it relates to tonight, I mean, they've got a coach in Craig Berube. He was in this situation when they when they were playing Boston in the Stanley Cup. They got blown out in Game 6, and then Game 7, they came back and they beat the Boston Bruins. So they've got the right guy behind the bench. I just don't know if they've got the right players. I don't believe they have the right players on the ice. I've said it over and over. It's a broken record. Matthews and Marner just don't hate to lose enough. And when you watch their post-game interviews after game number 5, they just seem very apoplectic. And just one other point on this. In game 4, all the talk was the late hit that Max Domi delivered on Sasha Barkov to send a message. Okay, it was a bad hit. I get the message you want to send, but where was that message when game 5 started? There's no excuse. If you're going to do that in game 4, you got to come out and hit. They were outshot 12-4 or 16-4 in that first period. At one point in the game, guys, William Nylander had 5 shots on goal, and the rest of the team had 6. They just need to wake up.
Finally, from me, JD, speaking of waking up, that's what Connor Hellebuck's going to have to do on the road. In 30 seconds, does it finally happen, or do the Stars do another multi-goal victory and oust the Jets once and for all?
Well, it's hard to believe. I mean, look, Hellebuck's got 2 shutouts in this series. They're both at home. The road numbers are awful. Here's one other trend I'll give you guys. We've had 5 games where there's been 5 shutouts in the playoffs this year. All 5 times in the next game, that game has gone over the total. Keep that in mind for when these 2 teams meet Saturday night.
And very quickly here, with Carolina moving on in the East, and I look at the futures board here. Toronto obviously down 3-2 up against it. They're the real long shot, 25-1. Winnipeg at 22-1. Everybody else, the other 4, 340 or less, with Edmonton being the favorite at plus 265. Is there a bet to make now on any of those prices, or do you feel like, man, you're just kind of late to the table here to figure out who's going to win the Stanley Cup?
I mean, you're late, guys, but still, if I can make 3-1 on my money, why not take it? I mean, it's still 3-1. It's not the best price, but I can triple my money. I mean, still think that's not a bad play.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So again, Edmonton right now plus 265 to win the Cup, but you got to lay $1.15 to win the West. JD, enjoy the weekend. We'll catch up again next week. Always enjoy our conversations.
All right, birthday boy Jensen, have a great one. Enjoy, and hope you make it through the evening. No food and drinking comatoses.
Food coma incoming, JD. Thank you, buddy.
If you're not a VSiN Pro subscriber, you got to do so right now. You're going to get 2 extra months for free right now when you go to VSiN.com/subscribe. You're going to use that promo code PRO. You're going to get $199 for the next 14 months. Daily best bets, exclusive betting splits. You're going to get access to the Watch app and the NFL betting guide. Come on back. Our best bets are next.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
We are back. VSiN By The Books. Great conversation with Jonathan Davis in the last segment, talking all things puck. Well, yeah, that Toronto Maple Leafs spot. I love the advice that JD gave out, that if you want to play that game tonight, you can just play kind of the double puck line here at big time plus money. And as long as you get a winner by 2 or more, you've got a winner. You're going to get positive ROI there. I mean, it does feel like if form holds from the last game and Florida just blows their doors off again, we'll know early, right? We're going to know early if Toronto's in this thing mentally tonight.
I would agree. And so right now, as I mentioned before, on DraftKings, the alternate puck line for the Maple Leafs, -1.5, is at plus 410.
Woo.
So puck line still here for Florida is plus $1.14.
So
if you want to get
right.
Yeah. If you want to get really rambunctious here, Florida to win by 3 or more is plus $1.95. And if you think Toronto just blows the doors off of it to win by 3 or more, is 7-1.
Let's get to those best bets that are presented by GBank, the official bank of VSiN. And let's stay with that game here, Jensen, because I know you do have an official play in, or excuse me, it's a lean right now. And yeah. I kind of see where you're going. That that reverse puck line that we talked about in hour number 1, it just caught my eye that if you can get it over at $4, if they can stay in the fight mentally, as JD alluded to, that really is between the ears with this. The talent is there. We all know that talent is there, but between the ears sometimes, they're a hard team to bet. But you might look at it at the money line price and say that's good enough. My concern there is, if it's tight, do we trust Toronto in a tight one? I'd almost like them to, get out to 2-goal, 3-goal lead early so they don't have to sweat this out as they seem to just fall apart when they fall behind early.
I would agree. And so the lean for me would be the Maple Leafs on the money line. And I would say if you want to do the Johnny Davis method here, take 2/3 of a unit on the money line at 2-1, and then take that other third and put it on that reverse puck line, or the alternate puck line, I should say, at plus 410. So that covers you both ways. You cash both. Maple Leafs win by 2 or more, you cash both. I do lean early the Stars, and again, our zigzag and Connor Hellebuck.
Yep.
I do lean the Stars on the puck line, plus $1.64 against the Jets tomorrow. No official plays just yet. Those would be my leans. Also, something to think about in the association here. Mm-hmm. I know that, boy, what a sports night. In Manhattan, in New York, the Bronx. It's going to be amazing. So you've got the Subway Series with Mets and Yanks, but Celtics-Knicks tonight. The lean for me is the under. Evan Abrams, the Action Network, here's a fabulous nugget, and it has been just money here in round 2. Last night, remember that the Nuggets trailed at half with that Lou Dort last-second 3 to go to half, 12 straight games now in round 2. Teams that trail at the half have covered the second half spread, 12 in a row. And in the second round overall, those teams, 16, 3-2 ATS to the second half. So you want to get something in at halftime, whoever's trailing, might as well blind tail that trend. It's been pretty good.
I love those numbers there. Before we get to your baseball picks for the day here, if you missed the Daily Diamond here early, we talked about some of these futures markets If you're a Pacers, let's say you've got a ticket like Zach Cohen does over north of 40-1 on the Pacers. Who do you think that he would be rooting for, or the Pacers would be rooting for in this Knicks and Celtics series? Because the Celtics right now are still the long shot at 475. Remember, it was a much longer number before Game 5. If this number, it's right now 2.5, and that total is 211.5, and I know you're on the under in that game. If the Celtics force a Game 7, they're going to flip to be the favorites, obviously, to win that series with a Game 7 potentially in Boston. And I wonder if you're a Pacer backer, you beat the Knicks last year in the playoffs in Madison Square Garden to wrap that up. Who do you think the Pacers faithful are actually rooting for?
Because they're going to go on the road no matter what for games 1 and 2.
Depleted
honestly,
Boston,
Dave,
or
I mean, maybe a slight lean to Boston, just knowing you're down at least Tatum. You have technically a fully healthy Knicks team. Is it team of destiny feel like with the Knicks the way they're playing? I don't think they care. I think they feel pretty good about both matchups. Absolutely.
Remember, we mentioned it 2 days ago. Boston was 30-1 to win the title.
Yeah.
That's been cut to 16-1. We mentioned the Nuggets, and we said yesterday, hey, kind of like the Nuggets here to force a Game 7, all the pressure would go to OKC. Here we are a day later, 9-1 from 25-1. So, again, still longer shots, but that's why we gave out those numbers when they were really playable at 30 and 25-1. Now those are down to 16 and 9-1 respectively for the Celtics and the Nuggets getting off the deck and trying to keep hope alive to at least get to the NBA Finals. Let's get to your baseball card today that you like out there. And again, a great pitching matchup. Certainly Chris Sale back in the bump here against his old team and Garrett Crochet as well. Both these guys used to pitch in Chicago. Now it's the Braves and the Red Sox respectively. What'd you give out there in the Daily Diamond?
Yeah, so we much like we did the Bryce Harper total bases ladder earlier this week, we're going to go a starting pitching strikeout parlay ladder. So we have Sale, Crochet, 6 or more strikeouts at $1 minus $1.80, 7 or more strikeouts for both at plus $1.22. And right now, Dave, they're lined at over under 7.5 strikeouts. So parlay them both to get 8. That's a nice payout of plus 274. So I think very achievable. 3 straight starts with 8 or more strikeouts for Chris Sale, including 2 where he had 10 or more. And then Crochet has had 6 or more strikeouts in 3 consecutive home starts there at Fenway Park. So I do think both those lefties, you would talk about the past and the present. Chris Sale, former ace of the Red Sox. Garrett Crochet, now current ace. Going to be an exciting one there at Fenway Park.
And we're past the point of concern of skippers going to get these guys on innings limits, right? We're into May now, and we kind of let them go as long as they can go.
Yeah, I would say just a eye test there. Second, third time around the order, kind of see where guys' stuff's playing. You would assume that if both these guys are on their games, that they could get deep into that one. Much in the same way we watched Hunter Brown, Jacob deGrom do it last night. Those offenses had no chance against either of those guys. So just the solo homer from Jake Berger gets it done for the Rangers. Could see that play out here again, the way both these guys are going right now.
Mets and Yankees tonight in the boogie down known as the Bronx, and should be a good one. It's going to be a raucous crowd. The return of Juan Soto here to the Pinstripers. I'm sure Will Hill will be yelling and throwing things at him if he's not in attendance. What do you make of this matchup here tonight? Mets small dogs here, plus $1.21, Yanks $1.35 in the money line.
Yeah, good little matchup here. And as far as the pitching goes, you mentioned it, Carlos Rodon for the Yankees, Tyler McGill for the Mets. And that's really been the headliner for the Mets, as their rotation has been absolutely phenomenal. We shall see how that goes when they head to the Bronx tonight. If you're just joining us, the lotto ticket parlay for the birthday, we do have Aaron Judge in there, 4 or more total bases, parlayed with Shohei Ohtani, 4 or more. Pico Armstrong to get the day started in the Windy City series there between the White Sox and the Cubs at Wrigley Field. So that 3-man, 4+ total bases parlay pays us just about 16-1 on DraftKings. If you have seen the elements forecasted for Wrigley this afternoon, got another one of those 11.5 total spreads or totals there. I would expect that we get a little more early offense than we did when it was Diamondbacks Cubs from weeks ago.
Wind blowing out, that seems to be apparent there. Very quickly, one other series that's going to begin kind of this rivalry set there. It's Cleveland going to Cincinnati here. Guardians, can they stay in the good foot? Bybee's going to be on the bump today here against the Redlegs.
Yeah, a battle of guys that are throwing the ball quite well. Bybee for the Guardians, Brady Singer for the Cincinnati Reds. Play in this game, Jose Ramirez, 2 or more total bases, minus $1.15. Last 3 years, over a 400 average cumulative against Cincinnati Reds pitching. I would expect him to be right in the middle of this battle for the Ohio Cup.
Get your GBank Visa signature card if you have not done so as of yet. Most credit cards are going to treat those sportsbook and gaming transactions as cash advances, even when you put your own money on the card. GBank's going to treat those as purchases, so you're going to save up to 3 to 5% right then and there on cash advance fees. Also with GBank, you're going to get back 1% cashback rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions, 2% cashback rewards on all other eligible purchases. Apply now, VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. Jensen, happy birthday. Again, for the people that missed it, you've got steaks ready to go, twice baked potatoes, and you've got a red that you've already pulled out ready to roll for tonight. Did I miss anything?
No, just the deck is calling our name here. The sun is out, and we'll have second round of the PGA on this afternoon. By the way, Max Homa now 6 under.
What?
For the day. Colin Morikawa tied with him, -4 for the tournament. Tied for 6. Let's go.
Happy birthday, brother. Everybody, don't go anywhere. We got a great show coming up for you next. Of course, it's a numbers game with Gil Alexander and Kelly Biddle.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.